delighted to welcome all of you, our esteemed guests and colleagues, to what is now our third annual International Colloquium, co-organized by the Real Colegio Complutense here at Harvard and the Institute for Ethics and Communication in Organizations of Valencia, Spain. And I'd also like at the outset to recognize our co-sponsors, which include Valencia University, Bentley University, the IECO UNESCO Chair, and the Abigail Adams Institute, whose support made today's program possible. The convening title for today's panel is Developing Trust and Ethically Healthy Organizations Through Humanistic Management. Those who have attended past colloquia will recognize a strong continuity with a theme of trust. In the first colloquium, we examined sources of trust in organizational environments. And we considered in particular what can lead individuals to be trustworthy. In the second colloquium, we examined motivations beyond material self-interest and asked how a variety of higher purposes might be encouraged, harnessed, and expressed in organizations. This year, this key phrase, it seems, is humanistic management, a term that I'll let our distinguished panelists define, but one that evokes some distinctive challenges to organizational theory and the suggestion, I suppose, that at least some current management practices might be inhumane or at least impoverished. This in turn raises a question. What are the standards by which to assess the ethical health of organizations, and how can managerial practices contribute to this health? One of the hopes of today's discussion, and we will devote the majority of our time to discussion, is that we can turn a corner in business ethics debates that so often focus on critiques and failures, or the superficial affirmation of values, or singular ethical choices. There certainly are momentous ethical dilemmas that business leaders face, but these aren't always the stuff of daily operations. And when one considers the more mundane questions of ethics and management, so much literature characterizes problems rather than solutions, or simply pays lip service to some additional values. We of course know there are limits to certain incentive structures and contracts. We know that there are problems with various strategies and priorities, but can we articulate a viable alternative, a better way forward? Ultimately, are there concrete practices that can enhance rather than undermine the full potential of those we work with and those we work for? The importance of these questions is, I think, increasingly clear. For the last 4 years, on a personal note, I've had the privilege of working with fellows of Harvard's Ethics Center, where the task there has been to diagnose and address problems of what we've called institutional corruption. And the center's research lab has produced some really fantastic scholarship, as well as a number of very practical recommendations and tools for reform. However, we quickly discovered that talking about institutional corruption requires some positive vision of institutional integrity and organizational purpose. We also learned how essential it is to engage practitioners who understand the challenges that organizations face from the inside. So today's colloquium aims to address important issues in the theory and practice of management, and we have a wonderful group of academics and business leaders to help us do so.